Thank you everyone for waiting. Assalamu alaikum and a very warm welcome to all the attendees present for the first edition of the Rediscover Maldives webinar series. Thank you for joining us. My name is Yosan Abdul Mohsen and I'll be your moderator for the Middle Eastern session of this webinar. This is a series of destination awareness webinars to share information on how to navigate through the new normal of traveling, regain confidence of travelers in the destination and portray Maldives as a safe haven, and to conduct the launching of must-do experiences in the Maldives. To start off, I would like to run through the agenda planned for today. We'll be starting with introductory remarks by Mr. Tayyib Mohammed, the Managing Director of Maldives Marketing and PR Corporation, National Tourism Board of the Maldives, followed by a presentation by Ms. Aishat Samia, the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Health, and a small introduction from Mr. Aaron Verdes, Relationship Manager of our Middle Eastern PR agency, Eastbourne Tourism LLC. This will be continued by launching of our new campaign, A Dozen Must-Do Experiences in the Maldives. We are also excited to have three of our industry partners, Mr. Abdullah Hassan, Sales and Marketing Manager of Panos Maldives, Mr. Amjad Tawfiq, Director of Sales and Marketing of the Nautilus Maldives, and Ms. Mona Sethi, Marketing and PR Manager of Lux Resorts and Hotels, who will take you on a virtual journey to the Maldives. Lastly, we'll be answering some of your questions during the Q&A session. So, without further ado, I would like to request our Managing Director, Mr. Tayyib Mohammed, to give the introductory remarks. Mr. Tayyib Mohammed.
Thank you, everyone, and good day. I would like to start with the presentation, or just to say a little bit of, I'm trying to share this, sorry. Yeah. Good afternoon from the Maldives. It is a great pleasure to rediscover Maldives webinar and welcome all. As you may know, on 15 July 2020, we reopened our border fully confident in the safety measures and preparedness to ensure the protection of all the visitors and people working in the tourism sector itself. Under the current circumstances, the geographical distribution of our islands and the one island, one resort concept guarantees that visitors get to enjoy their vacation in seclusion, as it offers a level of safety that can only be achieved in Maldives. From arrival to departure, the procedures set in place are systematic and managed in a manner with the least inconvenience to visitors. Resort facilities and tourist establishments have been regulated to ensure that they are in line with the COVID-19 tourism guidelines. Liverboats and safaris have also resumed operations, and they are safe as they are self-contained and do not require contact with local population or visitors outside the group. This ensures that visitors can enjoy the vacation and various activities without any interruption. Today, I am pleased to meet you all from the Middle Eastern market. The Middle East market is one of the most lucrative markets with a well-connected direct airline route to the Maldives, with a total of 60,000 tourist arrivals in 2019. Marketing activities have been ongoing in the market, especially to keep Maldives visible during the past months. Some of the important activities undertaken earlier this year include campaign with Vogue Arabia, outdoor visibility campaigns, cabs and mail branding, media fem trips, Bright Dubai show, and other destination trainings. Moving on to virtual platforms, we participated at the Arabian Travel Mark virtual event recently. We are working together with our rep from Middle East and GCC. Eastbound Tourism LLC on more marketing efforts such as joint promotion with airlines and tour operators. Thank you. Aaron is here, I think. Uh, we launched the Rediscover Maldives, the Sunny Side of Life campaign simultaneously with the reopening of our border. Rediscover Maldives webinar series is part of the campaign to share information about the reopening of Maldives and highlight the safety and hygiene measures put in place to ensure the Maldives is a safe haven for both tourists and staff alike. While we all have been dreaming of travel, it gives me great pleasure to be launching a dozen of must-do experiences in Maldives during this webinar. We hope these special experiences would inspire you all to visit the Maldives again. I hope this webinar provides you with important information about visiting the Maldives and clarifies any questions you may have. Before I conclude, I would like to thank Ms. Aishat Samia, Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Health, for taking the time out of her busy schedule to participate in this webinar. I would also like to thank Mr. Aaron Burders, Relationship Manager of our PR in Middle East and GCC markets, especially during these unprecedented times. Last but not least, I would like to thank our industry partners for their utmost support given to us. Thank you, Mr. Abdul Ahmad, Mr. Amjad Tawfiq, and from Nautilus Maldives, and Ms. Mona from Lux Maldives for participating with us. I thank you all for your time in joining this webinar today. I welcome you all to come and rediscover Maldives, the sunny side of life.
Thank you, Mr. Tayyib Mohammed. Now I would like to request the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Health, Ms. Aishat Samia, to continue this session. Ms. Aishat Samia.
Thank you, Tayyib, and thank you, colleagues. It's a pleasure for me to address me this today and to share the health experience on behalf of Ministry of Health. We work very closely. Hope my voice is clear.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Yes. We work very closely, Ministry of Health, with the hospitals and very closely with MMPRC and tourism sector to ensure your experience in the Maldives is a healthy and enjoyable experience. So we'll just go through the health aspects related to your visit or travel to the Maldives. Yeah. To date, I think you must be also aware, because we try to share information, up-to-date information on the health status regularly on the Health Protection Agency's website. This is for transparency of the COVID situation in the country. So currently, from the beginning, we've got about 7,500 reported cases, but the community transmission is mainly in one island. It's the Greater Malé region or Malé area. And then there's strict quarantine measures in place to contain the spread or movement of spread from the central Malé to any other islands or resorts. And we have to say that the measures have been very successful so far. Whatever cases we've seen, like individual cases which are imported from the Malé region, and then they are contained. So there's we don't find that there's any further transmission in any of the other regions so far. We find that the transmission within the Malay region is also at a certain level because of the measures that we are taking. And Mr. Toyib also mentioned that because of the geography of the country, as each island is separate from the other islands, if there is any cases and any reported cases in any of the islands, it will be in that island only. So there's very less chance of any cases moving from one island to the other. So the geography of the island is a huge advantage. And I think as visitors to the country, it is also another advantage for you that you will have, each island is very isolated from the other islands. So in terms of your experience, it will be a very unique experience. Number three, there's also a reduced chance of importation of further cases to the Maldives because again, there are specific measures that we take. So each person, each tourist will be taken directly from the airport to a resort. So there's less chance for any tourist to meet or to come in contact with persons from like the central capital area. So the travel is specifically directly to the resorts, and then from the resorts, after your experience, it will be back to the airport. There's also safety of residents and tourists are also ensured. There's strict guidelines that's followed by the resorts itself. So these guidelines would start when you reach the airport all the way to the resort and all the way back to the airport. So this follows throughout your experience in the country. Let me go into some of the specifics of our preparedness to greet tourists into the country. So the testing capacity in the country has been increased to cater to tourists because we are aware that many of the countries require a pre-departure tourist sample that needs to be taken, and this result is needed before the departure to some of the destinations. Number two, the system is also established for departing tourisms to test not only in the central area, but the testing also expands to two of the other regions, specifically to cater to the testing needs for tourists. Isolation facilities are also established in the central and the region levels. We've got isolation facilities which are also tourist resorts as well. There's also a transport and evacuation system for medical emergencies within the country. This is very well established, and this is in collaboration with the medical emergency ambulance services as well as the support of defense force. Also, the guidelines established for the tourism sector. This is developed in collaboration with the tourism ministry to ensure safety of staff, guests, but also to ensure that there's that we also cater to the specific needs of tourists while we ensure the safety, health safety of the tourist and the guests. There's also guidelines tailored to different aspects. So we have guidelines specific to tourists, to the guest houses, liver boats. So different scenarios are catered in the guidelines with regards to the health needs of tourists. Before arrival, there's advanced booking. So you would, this information is passed not only to the tourism sector, but the health team is also aware of the booking and the specific needs of the tourist. Number two, there's a health declaration card that could be completed virtually on the Maldives immigration website portal. So your health information will be communicated before your arrival to the health officials. If there's any symptoms, this needs to be communicated in the health declaration form. In the areas you've traveled recently, so it's not a very complex information sheet, but minimum information that just helps us to be prepared to ensure that we cater to your health needs. A negative COVID-19 PCR test, maximum 72 hours from departure, has to be presented from 4th September 2020. This is a new requirement which will be in place from 4th of September. This again ensures that your encounter in the tourist resorts is a healthy experience. Symptom screening will be done at the airport, and we've continued to do this for many months. If the symptoms are present at the arrival, you will be requested for a PCR testing. And then for those without symptoms, the transportation to the destination tourist resort will be directly from there. But you will be given the information about the safety measures throughout your experience. Any symptomatic tourist will be transported to the resort after taking the sample. So you would still be able to go to the resort, and you will be at the resort till you get the sample results. And the resort health team would guide you on your next steps from there on. Again, to ensure your safety, because we take full advantage of the geographical isolated nature of our islands, any visits to the different inhabited islands are currently not allowed, but your experience within the resort would include different trips, like without any travel to the inhabited islands, but other experiences would be included in your travel. Split stay between resorts is possible, but this needs to be communicated at pre-arrival stage to the tourist resort, or when you are booking for the visit for the travel. Mask, physical distancing, and infection prevention measures according to the guidelines are in place throughout, as I mentioned, your experience in the country. And anywhere during your stay in the country, if you develop any symptoms, there would be health personnel in the resorts who would help you, and you could consult with the health personnel, and they would assist you in treating your symptoms, as well as attending to your symptoms, as well as direct you if there's any need for PCR testing, and to help you from there on. If there is any symptoms, they will also guide you to isolate within the resort, so that you would still be in the resort, but then the testing results and the guidance from the health professional will help you to know your next steps from there on. So as much as possible, your stay would be kept in the or limited to the resort. If you test positive, if you get a confirmed test to the PCR testing, then there would be isolation required, but this will also be assisted from the resort itself. As per the WHO guideline, it will be 14 days isolation period. If there's any symptoms, it's just 3 days symptom free. So this is just based on the international guidelines available. If there's any severe symptoms that you develop, if you are immunocompromised for any medical condition, then medical team will guide you on the need for isolation, which might take longer. But then as soon as you are better under the medical guidance, you will be released. Those with mild disease who are not at high risk may isolate in the resort. So this has been communicated with the Transport Ministry of Tourism, as well as the resort owners. So your stay, if it's a mild case, might be in the resort itself, with the doctors, with the medical team in the resort. Others, including those on liveaboards, will be required to move to an isolation facility to ensure that you get the best care during your stay in the country. For positive cases, there are no testing required at discharge. This is as per international guidance. So you just need to be isolated for the required 14 days time. If there's a positive case, and then if you are identified as a contact as per the guidelines, then what is required is quarantine. It could be in the resort itself for the specified time. If it's a contact, then there would be PCR testing at the end of 14 days. Just to mention that if it's a positive case, there's no need for testing at the end of the 14 days period. Now at departure, it depends on your requirement, on your destination country's requirement. So if the destination country, if your country or your destination location requires a PCR negative result, then the tourist resort will assist you in consultation with the health authorities to get the test result in time for your departure. But as mentioned, if you develop symptoms at any time, then there is a requirement to do a testing. Otherwise, it's as per your requirement. The payment also for your convenience, as well as to make sure that it's kept at a certain level, has been limited to $100. So the payment rates which are available for PCR testing, for the available PCR testing facilities would be not higher than the amount that you see on the screen. The charges for isolation and testing is borne by the guest or tourist. This is if there is a need. Thank you. This is in a nutshell, and from the Ministry of Health side also, as a final parting words, I would like to say we are ready with open arms to welcome you to our beautiful country. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Aishat Samia, for those wonderful words and for the informative presentation. Now I would like to request Mr. Aaron Verdes, Relationship Manager of Eastbound Tourism LLC, which is the Maldives representative in the Middle East and GCC region, to say a few words. Mr. Aaron Verdes.
Thank you, Ehsan. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Aaron Verdes from Eastbound Tourism LLC. We are MMPRC's representatives in the Middle East region. Thank you for joining us today. You all have been extremely supportive in promoting this beautiful destination over the last few months as well as years. We look forward to your continued support in the future as well. Should you have any queries or require any additional information, please feel free to reach out to us. We are very confident that Maldives will have increased popularity amongst Middle Eastern travelers in the post-COVID era due to its naturally self-isolated nature and resorts. Now I would like to be sharing some new experiences, and I would like to pass it on back to the MMPRC team to take this forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Aaron. So as Aaron said, now we have come to the most anticipated part of this session. We will now be launching our new campaign, A Dozen Must-Do Experiences in the Maldives, in which I would like to kindly request our Managing Director, Mr. Tayyib Mohammed, to proceed. Mr. Tayyib Mohammed.
Thank you. There are over 60 plus experiences that one could enjoy while in Maldives. And today we just are showcasing only a few, and it includes some from our travel partners as well. And I take pleasure in launching this. Please.
Experience the sunny side of life. A dozen must-do experiences in the Maldives. Fly above the islands. Witness the beauty of the Maldives by soaring through the sky on a seaplane. Get a bird's eye view of the islands, sandbars and lagoons scattered across the blue ocean. This will surely be a breathtaking experience. Floating breakfast in an infinity pool. Start your breakfast in style and indulge in a fantastic breakfast spread. Treat yourself to the perfect floating breakfast while in the comfort of your own private pool. Remember to take a photo and post it on social media. Live like a local. Live like a local on one of the many islands in the Maldives. Join their laid-back lifestyle. Play football with the children. Enjoy a home-cooked meal. Or simply sit by the beach and sip on a cup of black tea while watching the sunset in the horizon. Welcome to the hidden side of paradise. stay at your own private overwater villa, perched over crystal blue waters with iconic boardwalks and thatched roofs. Overwater villas are the ultimate source of luxury and privacy in resorts. With the one island, one resort concept in mind, visitors are guaranteed a romantic getaway in seclusion. If you are looking to escape the humdrum of city life and daily woes, this will be perfect. Swim freely in harmony with nature. The Maldives is one of the best countries in the world for swimming and snorkeling. You can snorkel at a UNESCO Biosphere Reserve with manta rays, nurse sharks, sea turtles and even whale sharks if you're lucky. Var Atoll and Ari Atoll are the best locations for this experience. Exquisite underwater dining experience. Exceptional dining experiences await under the sea, amidst vivid views of fascinating coral gardens, flora and fauna. With flavorful menus on the table and luxury guaranteed, the feeling of being underwater is truly special. Treehouse adventures. Looking for an unforgettable adventure or simply an escape amidst the rich tropical vegetation? Book yourself a stay at a resort with luxury tree houses in the Maldives. Bubble tent on a beach. A cosmic experience under the stars in an idyllic stay at a spectacular new luxury glamping concept. The first of its kind in the Maldives, the Bubble Up on a Beach tent at Finalu. Plant a coral and help conserve the environment. Help us save and conserve our underwater beauty by planting a coral and helping in its preservation while you stay in the Maldives. Sunset fishing. With a rich marine heritage, Maldives is one of the world's top destinations for fishing and practices sustainable methods of pole and line fishing. Sunset fishing is an experience not only reserved for fishing enthusiasts, but for anyone who wishes to enjoy a magical sunset out at sea. Experience mystic illuminated shores at night. Have you ever walked along the seashore at night and seen it illuminated by a blue glow? This magical phenomenon is actually created by bioluminescent planktons. Witness the rare beauty in the Maldives. Movie night under the stars. Spice up your date night with the outdoor cinema under the stars. Enjoy your favorite movie under the starry Maldivian sky. The intimate setting is just the private experience you have been waiting for.
Thank you, Mr. Tayyib Mohammed, for sharing with us these wonderful experiences. I'm definitely tempted to try some of these myself, and Maldives is renowned for its innovative tourism products, and we are honored to be one of the first in the world to bring you such experiences. Do let us know which experience is the most tempting for you by hashtagging your favorite experience with Visit Maldives on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter. That being said, we would now be highlighting 3 of the 12 experiences showcased in the launching video. The first experience showcases how fine dining merges with the beautiful turquoise waters and the exotic marine life of the Maldives, bringing to us exquisite underwater dining experiences.
Exceptional dining experiences await under the sea, amidst vivid views of fascinating coral gardens, flora and fauna. With flavorful menus on the table and luxury guaranteed, the feeling of being underwater is truly special. Rediscover Maldives, the sunny side of life.
The second experience takes a step deeper into the heart and culture of our island nation, showcasing the opportunity to live like a local in the Maldives.
On one of the many islands in the Maldives, join their laid-back lifestyle, play football with the children, enjoy a home-cooked meal, or simply sit by the beach and sip on a cup of black tea while watching the sunset on the horizon. Welcome to the hidden side of paradise. Rediscover Maldives, the sunny side of life.
And the third experience shows us just how unique a stay at a beach could turn out to be. Have you ever dreamt about counting the stars while going to sleep? Well, that dream now becomes a reality when spending the night in a bubble tent on a beach.
A cosmic experience under the stars in an idyllic stay at a spectacular new luxury glamping concept. The first of its kind in the Maldives, the Bubble Up on a Beach tent at Finolu. Rediscover Maldives, the sunny side of life.
With hopes that all the attendees enjoyed the experiences presented, I would like to continue on with the session and allow 3 of our industry partners who are present with us to showcase their own unique experiences. Please note that the respective representatives from these establishments would be taking 1 or 2 questions directly after the presentations, so please drop your questions into the chat box below. Going forward, the first experience will be showcased by Pandas Maldives, and before that, I would like to request Mr. Abdullah Hassan, Sales and Marketing Manager of Pandas Maldives, to say a few words. Mr. Abdullah Hassan.
A very good afternoon to everyone. My name is Abdullah. I'm from Bandos Maldives. In a short while, we will be playing a video of Bandos Marine Life. We hope that you will like it. Without taking more of your time, I would like to ask the host to play the video. If you have any question, please send me a private message also. I'll be available until the webinar ends. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Abdullah Hassan. And before moving forward, I would just like to check if there are any questions that Mr. Abdullah Hassan can take currently right now. So I don't think there are any questions right now, but we can wait until the Q&A session. So thank you, Mr. Abdullah Hassan. Next, I would like to ask the Nautilus Maldives to showcase their unique experiences and similarly request Mr. Amjad Tawfiq, Director of Sales and Marketing of Nautilus Maldives, to say a few words. Mr. Amjad Tawfiq.
Amjad, you're muted.
Thank you, Hassan. A very good afternoon from the Nautilus Maldives. First of all, thank you so much for joining this amazing webinar and taking your time to watch these videos. Before we show the Nautilus video, I just wanted to let you know this is just one of the very few experiences that we do in the Nautilus. We do a lot of beautiful, amazing experiences. So we will show the video next, and then after that, I will also give some more information. Thank you. Thank you. So I just want to let you know what we have just shown is movie Under the Stars. The video basically showed the beach of the Nautilus. However, if guests prefer that they wanted to have even more private time, we could do the same experience in a sandbank, completely just allowed just for the couple and no one else, so that they can have the most romantic under the stars experience with the movie. And also we can do dinner, barbecue dinner as well. Plus also I just want to tell you, as shown in the webinar, the Maldives is definitely the safest destination that anyone can travel, especially because of its geographical formation. And I also wanted to highlight that the Nautilus Maldives is a 26 houses. Every single house category comes with private pool and also temperature controlled pool. We got 3 restaurants, and it's really probably the most amazing island that you can visit after the COVID-19. And if you have got any question, please feel free to ask me. I'll be happy to answer any question. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Mr. Amjad. And similarly, I would also like to check if there are any questions that we can take, 1 or 2 questions right now. And if there aren't, we can just move on to, we can have those inquiries answered later on.
Thank you. So.
Okay, since there are no questions, thank you, Mr. Amjad. And last but not least, I would like to request Lux Resorts and Hotels to showcase their experience, and request Ms. Mona Setki, Marketing and PR Manager of Lux Resorts and Hotels, to say a few words. Ms. Mona.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, everybody, and warm greetings from Lux South Ari Atoll Resort and Villas. My name is Mona Setki. I am the Marketing and PR Manager at the resort, and I'm here to tell you a little bit more about our resort and take you on a little journey. So our award-winning resort has 193 villas and was crowned the most eco-friendly resort in the Maldives last year at the South Asian Travel Awards. The island is almost 2 kilometers long, and it caters to families, couples, and solo travelers alike. They're always here to celebrate life. 8 restaurants and 5 bars will take you on a culinary journey around the world, from Middle Eastern cuisine to Mediterranean cuisine, from Asia to India. So it's safe to say that the dining experience here is one to put on your bucket list. So how do you wish to celebrate life? That's the question. One of many reasons people choose to come to our resort is, apart from our sustainable approach and our heavy focus on privacy, it's also because we launched 8 experience packages that we call the collectible experiences. Depending on the purpose of your stay and your holiday and your travel, these packages are designed to enhance your stay when you come to the Maldives, to make sure that you really maximize every minute of your holiday. The most popular package as of now is the Maldives bucket list, where we have included all the must-dos when you are in the Maldives. For example, our resort is located in a very marine protected area where the whale sharks roam around all year around. And I would say if you haven't snorkeled with these whale sharks, it's really a once in a lifetime wow experience. You can read more about our collectible experiences on our website, luxresorts.com. But today we're not going to talk about the collectible experiences. We're going to talk about the floating breakfast in an infinity pool, in your private pool. So this is a very popular concept, a culinary concept in your private pool. The signature floating breakfast, you can choose your own menu, and it has been designed to meld together a culinary treat with a great start to your day, because it's a breakfast, all while you're facing the crystal clear lagoon, just a couple of 100 meters from where the whale sharks are roaming around all year. So it's definitely a front row seat experience. So I'm not going to talk too much. We will now have a look at what a typical floating breakfast looks like. And if you pay close attention in the video, you will see that we have built-in seats in the private pool, as well as one of the popular menus, which is the Middle Eastern tray of treats. So bon appetit. Thank you so much for listening and for MMPRC for inviting us. And we hope to see you soon at our resort, Lux South Ari Atoll. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ms. Mona. And before continuing, similarly, I would like to check if there are any questions that you could take right now. So, okay, so since there are no questions, I would like to thank you all thank all the establishments for virtually transporting us back to these, transporting us to the unique experiences of your properties. I hope everyone's excited to tick these off your bucket list. And this therefore leaves us at the last component of our webinar session, the Q&A segment. I would now be going through some of the questions that were raised prior to the webinar, some from the chat box itself, and allowing the panelists to answer these questions. So looking at the questions that we received from the Zoom registration, the first question is from Amin from Dubai News. Do you still offer weddings in the Maldives during this pandemic? I think Mr. Taib Mohammed could say a few words for this. Mr. Taib, you're muted.
Yeah, I just wanted to get out of this place to experience those experiences. Amjad, I think I really need that. Anyways, to answer that, weddings in Maldives and renewal of vows are still offered during the pandemic. However, a wedding in Maldives between two foreign nationals is not legally binding. Many resorts offer wedding packages, most of which combine both the wedding and the honeymoon. It is advisable to check with your desired tourist establishment to see whether they have any offers during this time, as it could change accordingly as well. That's a short answer. Ihsan?
Thank you, Mr. Taib. So the second question is actually asking about some data on the global or Middle Eastern and North African UAE 2018 to 2019 data on tourism arrivals to the Maldives. This is from Jara Piot from Gulf Today. So I think once again, Mr. Taib could answer this question.
Yes, the total arrivals in 2018 was 52,100 from Middle East, and UAE, it was around 9,000. So globally, it was 1.48 million. And in 2019, last year, from Middle East, we received about 60,000, and UAE, it was about 10,490. And globally, we received about 1.7 million tourists last year. And with our borders opening on July 15th, so far we have received around 9,123 tourists until Sunday. Out of this, it is very interesting to see UAE seems to be the #1 in terms of arrivals, with 1,724 tourists so far. That's it. Ihsan?
Thank you, Mr. Tayyib. The third question is from NASA Travel, so from Swapna. Is it necessary to have a PCR test done before entering the Maldives? Some resorts have advised that it is necessary, while some haven't. I think Ms. Samia could answer this question.
Currently, for now, it is not required to have a PCR test result to come to the Maldives, but from 3rd September onwards, it will be all the guests all the arrivals would need a test, a positive PCR test before arrival. So this will change from the 3rd of September. Yeah, from the 4th of September, to ensure that the safety of all the tourists. It would be a requirement to have a positive PCR testing from then onwards. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms.
Sorry,
Samia.
negative PCR testing. Thank you.
Ah, yes. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Samia. The next question is from Emirates Holidays KSA, from Yusuf Ghasiani. From a tourist's perspective, what are the precautions one must observe upon arrival and while traveling to the resorts? Also, how can travel agents assure clients of safety at the destination? What is the country doing to keep tourists safe during their entire stay? I think Mr. Tayyib Mohammed would be able to answer this question.
Oh, that's lots of questions.
Yeah.
I will start with a quote from Talib Rifai, the former Secretary General from UNWTO. He says, we have to respect that travel has become a human right, but how to travel? But how to travel? That is our challenge. But we have to clean up our act. But I don't think we need to make a choice between traveling and not traveling. Markets with a bigger domestic appetite have a better chance of recovery. So let's see whether it's Maldives or any other destination. As there's so many questions you have asked, I will just try to answer a few. Let's say an independent research released by the Travel Port on August 25 also stated that majority of travelers traveling will consider booking domestic and international trips only if airlines, airports, hotels, and car rental companies collectively implement 10 different safety measures throughout their journey. Out of these social distancing rules, mandatory use of the face masks and ready access to sanitizing gel or wipes, face masks, and gloves were the most preferred in the list. So it's the same here in Maldives. For travelers to have the confidence to book a hotel room, this study which I mentioned showed that majority of them wanted 6 specific safety measures in place. That is, enhanced cleaning, guest services via their mobile phone, and all these health-related issues. And most of these establishments which has been open do adhere to all these guidelines as well. To be specific, resorts must designate areas for isolation of the guest if and when required, and shall allocate facilities and make arrangements for staff to self-isolate when necessary as instructed by HPA. Guest service staff shall be trained in the use of PPE, social distancing procedures, and disinfection procedures as well. Staff shall wear face masks in enclosed public spaces. Emergency procedures shall be put in place to deal with suspected cases of COVID-19. And it goes, and it's a long list, and it's all available, and I'm sure our team will post a link in here as well. In addition to these guidelines for staffing, check-in procedures, common facilities, emergency procedures, checkout procedures, and room cleaning all have been established as well. Thanks, Ihsan. I hope I have highlighted some.
Yes, Mr. Tayyib, you definitely did. So now moving on to the chat box questions, I would just like to see which questions are highlighted. There's one question from Madhu Menon. We have been told during this presentation that guests can stay in different resorts during the stay. Is there any minimum stay required in each resort? If so, how many nights? So I think Ms. Samia could answer this question.
Hassan, can you please repeat the question?
Yes. We have been told during this presentation that guests can stay in different resorts during the stay. Is
Split
there
stay.
any minimum stay required in each resort? If so, how many nights?
From the health side, we don't have any specific requirement on a minimum number of days that guests have to stay in any of the resorts. But if the stay requested by the guest is in 2 or 3 different resorts, then the preferred modality is to convey or communicate before arrival. So at the booking time, to inform this requirement so that it is communicated to the tourism sector as well as health sector before arrival. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Samia. The next question is from Muhushara Ahmed. Is travel insurance required? I think Mr. Tayyib Mohammed could answer this question.
At the moment, we don't require travel insurance, but I'm sure Sami again can reassure that I think the tourist establishments has to take care of it.
Thank you, Tayyib. I think I would also just reiterate that as of now, there is no requirement to have a travel insurance for your travel to the Maldives. But if, as explained in the presentation, if there's any requirement during your stay in the Maldives for medical, then this will be arranged between the guest and the resort in communication with the health authorities. So it should be okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Tayyib Mohammed and Ms. Samia. And the next question is from Mark Olvervamak. Please advise during the stay if guest test positive. Does tourism board / resort will assist guest for quarantine facilities charges? Quarantine facilities or charges? I think Mr. Tayyib Mohammed could answer this question, and if possible, I can repeat it as well.
With everything, definitely we depend on tourism, and if there's any chance, we would definitely help anybody who is in need. Ministry of Tourism, Ministry of Health, HPA, and anybody who is working, all the frontline workers are working non-stop to make your stay in Maldives safe. So if you are in Maldives and if you feel like if you really need to be isolated or quarantined, we definitely will help you carry out the process as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Tayyib Mohammed. And I think that would be all the questions that we can take for today. Before wrapping up, I would like to request our Managing Director once more, Mr. Tayyib Mohammed, to say a few words before the final closure of this session. So, Mr. Tayyib Mohammed.
Yeah, thanks. It is indeed a good webinar where we saw a lot of tempting videos, and I wish I could really have some experience soon as well. When we started isolating positive cases in some of the resorts, staff were worried, but together with frontline workers, it all started happening. They were willing to risk their lives and the lives of their loved ones at home to support the country on this decision. And the only answer to that is that they feel they are part of this beautiful island nation and want to make it work all over again. The focus here is trust, the trust between ourselves, between our stakeholders, the private sector, and the trust we should create with the partners today, the trust we create with the PR representatives, and the trust we indeed create with all the travel representatives, tour operators, travel agents here. I wish you all the best and hope we could work much more in the days ahead, and hoping to see more tourists arrive in the near future as well, especially from UAE as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Tayyib Mohammed. And thank you all all the panelists for providing the wonderful experiences and information to all these participants. And to the questions that have been gone unanswered, we will definitely be getting back to you via email. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us in the first session of the Rediscover Maldives webinar series. We hope all the participants enjoyed the experiences presented and similarly hope that the session was informative as well. We wish you all a wonderful day ahead and thus conclude the session. Thank you.